Yo, 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 what is up, pussies?
Yo, what's up, pussies?
This is the first episode of Mogcast.
Yeah, Mogcast, which is actually a pretty clever name. I don't know if anybody commented it, but I thought of it. I don't know if you thought of it and I just took your idea, then I'm sorry, bro, but I'm pretty sure I came up with Mogcast.
Did you actually?
Yeah, it was like 6 a.m.
It reminds me of
crackhead hours.
Some Minecraft shit I used to watch, Yogscast. I was like, dude, are people going to pick up on that? Think we're ripping off
Yeah,
Yogscast?
no. So Mogcast, you guys already know what Mog is. Pretty much you just dwarf the person next to you, just pure size and, mass. But we do want to talk about, for this first podcast, is the direction of it. So obviously it's going to be fitness related because, James and I,
we're sort of fitness influencers.
yeah, and we're kind of at the top of the food chain right now.
We kind of run this shit.
Yeah. But also it's like, we want to talk about shit that we wouldn't be able to sit in a video, like a YouTube video, and talk about. So it's like, we'll sit with the boys, you guys being the boys, and the small amount of girls, and then we'll talk about like sex.
It's like 1% girls.
I want to talk.
What's your demographic on YouTube?
Oh, YouTube, it's 3%.
Yours is 3%?
I think it's 3%, or it might be 2%.
How do I find that shit? Yeah, I think mine's 2%.
Yeah.
I know that I think in terms of subscribers, it might be 2 or 3%, but in terms of, or it might even be higher. It might be like 5, but in terms of the
actual views, it's usually like 98, 99% dudes. Yeah.
Especially on like the super testosterone videos where it's like,
no, there was literally one that was 100%.
Yeah. There was one video where I'd uploaded it like a year ago, but the past 28 days, every single person that had watched it had been a dude. Cause I think it was the Smashing PRs with Lex Little video.
Yeah.
And if you've seen that video, it's not a fit for girls. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, but you think if you're a girl, you'd like, oh, these guys are like good looking, they're in shape. I might as well click on it and watch a little bit.
That one had David Lade in it too. Girls still weren't watching.
Handsomest man alive.
Yeah. First podcast topic, is David Lade the handsomest man on the planet?
That is not the first spider. But wait, so we're going to have guests on here. The next podcast, we're actually going to have Noelle. She's flying in tomorrow. I got to go pick her up. So we're going to have guests on here. We're going to be doing like him and I, us and Madrid. Madrid didn't want to be in the first one. We'll do us and Kenny. Maybe if Derek gets down here, we'll grab Derek.
Derek, get down here,
the
man.
Fucking big head man, the chemist. We'll get him down here. But yeah.
What a surreal experience it would be to have Derek on the podcast.
Yeah.
More plates, more days.
Dude.
He'd have to start off the podcast by being like,
what's
up, guys? Derek, more plates, more dates.
Dude, that'd be so sick. And honestly, I do think, because, James and I are pretty entertaining, me more than James, but I think that the podcast could actually do pretty well, and maybe someone who doesn't even watch our shit, like,
yeah,
might like
you got like one entertaining guy and then one like good looking guy, so it kind of like
yeah. But if you guys are wondering why I have 3 beverages right now, one is Gorilla Mode or Stim because I was feeling low energy. Yeah,
energy.
I also have coffee because I wanted something warm. Feeling a little sick.
This podcast is indirectly sponsored by Gorilla Mode.
Yeah, if you guys don't know,
the only reason we could buy this equipment.
Soon we want the classic advertisers.
Yeah, if we could get, dude, honestly,
Manscaped,
Blue Chew, Cialis, we've probably. I wonder how many sales in Cialis we've made just by talking about it in our videos. Seriously,
bro, I get DMs every day.
Yeah.
Sush, how many milligrams of Cialis? I don't know. I don't want to get
source. I get Cialis.
Oh yeah, source. Stop asking us for source, dude, because I don't want to tell you because I feel like I'll be feeding your addiction.
It's just I wouldn't mind giving a source if it was for just Cialis. That's what Blue Chew is, but a lot of these sources you can get like gear and stuff on there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to be giving kids. Yeah, I don't want to be giving kids a source. Like, because some of these people that are messaging me are like 13, 14 years old asking for Cialis. And if they go into this website and then there's like Trenbolone on there, I don't want to indirectly give them a source for Tren. But yeah, anyway, the direction of the podcast is basically going to be, obviously there's going to be some fitness in there, but the whole reason we started the podcast is because we both were like, our whole lives revolve around fitness outwardly, but when we talk with each other, Madrid, Misu,
we're just normal guys.
Yeah, we're just normal people.
So this is the locker room talk.
Yeah, this is basically just locker room talk to the world and our thoughts on things and all the stuff that obviously you can't fit like, hey, what do you think about, what are your thoughts on the government's response to coronavirus? We're not going to randomly put that in like a fitness vlog, but people that are interested could come onto a podcast. So it's really just going to be all the stuff that we really want to talk about, but just doesn't naturally fit into a fitness vlog.
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest, guys. I actually feel like shit right now. I had like 5 hours of sleep. So quick little story. There's this one girl, you know, we've been hooking up, and she hits me up last night, and she's like, it's like 2 a.m. She's like, hey, I need to come over. Like, I was at the club or whatever. She's getting sexually harassed. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that was borderline rape.
Yeah. This guy, I guess, was like, this sugar daddy was like buying her bottles, which she thought was cool. And then all of a sudden he's like grabbing up on her. So I'm like, yeah, for sure. Come over. She comes over. She's like blacked out. And so, you know, I was kind of staying up with her, and then I woke up early because she woke up early, and now I have zero sleep. So I'm tired as fuck.
And for all you people out there that might be like, you know, this Sush guy's a real dick, I'll have you know that while she was borderline blacked out, he came out to me and he was like, you know, whispering, and he's like, dude, I want her to know when she wakes up that I wouldn't ever take advantage of her or anything like that. And I'm like, bro, I don't think she's going to assume you did anything with her. So the man does have concern.
Yes, 100%. And like I don't want to say, I mean, I don't know if this sounds bad, but it would have just been so easy for me to just take advantage of her.
And it happens way too often.
Yeah. And like, you know, rape is no joke. So
rape is no joke. Even though I used it not talking about rape in the actual sense of rape, but I used it to talk about some pain I was feeling. And I was like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Rape is no joke.
Yeah. But I have smashed. If you guys are wondering, I have. So
good job, bro. What's the count up to now?
Oh yeah, so you guys have been asking for an updated body count. I think it's dude, the last podcast I did, it was 1. On Medium Rare Podcast, it was 1. So right now I think it's 5. Yeah. 5.
I almost named names. I almost
yeah. Don't name names, but yeah, I think it's 5. So it's kind of like, but you know, we were talking one time. I feel like you would think that when you have sex, you get like less horny and you like don't want to do it as much. But it's almost like once you have sex, it's like,
oh yeah, dude,
it's just exponential. Nectar. Yeah, it's not linear. It's not like it's straight exponential.
Especially because the more you have sex, the better you get at it, and then the sex becomes better for both people, and then both people want to have it more. So that's why I always say horny is a disease. Everything in life usually like everything bad in life that happens to people usually traces back to one person being horny, 1 or 2 people being horny. It's like anytime I hear like, yeah, I got really fucked up, you know, my life's gone downhill. What happened, man? Well, you know, I'm a dad now. And it's like, well, there you go. So, but yeah, the count's been
it's exponential because I think in my mind I'm almost like insecure about how much of a virgin I was in high school, because I was a virgin in high school. So in my mind I'm like, okay, I got to make up for the time that I had lost, which I heard people do that a lot. And
Derek,
yeah,
that's what Derek was talking about.
Yeah, Derek was saying that. So it's like, if you're a virgin in high school, honestly, like I know of a few like that used to be.
There's a good amount that come
like
out.
Honestly, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest, bro. Once you go to college or wherever you go.
And there's also a lot of girls that I know that are 20, 21, 22, even 23 that are virgins. Mm-hmm. So and these are like attractive girls that are like really smart, extroverted. So it's not like they're, you know, these like weirdo girls that can't get with guys. They're like normal girls, but they're virgins too. So
then the question is, if you're in that situation, do you just go out and have sex with a random girl just because you want to, like you hop on Tinder, or do you try to like wait it out and like find the one, but maybe the one is like, yo, you're a virgin, like, you know, what do you do? What do you do in that situation?
That's
because I was in that situation, and that's when I hopped on Tinder my first time, and I was like, you know, I'm having sex. I need to have sex. I'm tired of this. And I don't regret it at all. At the time I regretted it. I was like, fuck, dude, I should have waited. But looking back on it now, I'm like,
you should have waited for what?
Like an actual
girl,
yeah,
like girlfriend.
Yeah. But now that looking back on it, I don't think that was. I think that was the right move. It's what I did.
See, for me, because on one hand, I'm an institutionalist and I believe in like social institutions, like, you know, not cheating on your partner, like having one partner, all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, I'm also not so extreme that I'm like no sex till marriage and only have one partner. So it's hard for me to give advice where I feel like it's coming straight from the heart and I feel justified in saying it. But at least for me, and I think this would go for a lot of people, when I met my first girlfriend, I wouldn't say she was the one. She wasn't. But
you felt some type of way, bro.
I felt some type of way, especially because it was my first girl, and it was her first guy. So that's going to be a big thing because it's, you know, at the time you're young, it's both your first partner, and it's like, wow, isn't this so romantic that we're both like untouched and like this is our first partner? But I remember, even though there was nothing necessarily wrong with her, I was just like, am I really going to die? Like, am I going to die having sex with one person? Yeah. And I think that question is what makes a lot of people cheat later on, is like,
you almost need to get the hoe out of you.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking to a girl right now. Shout out if you're watching this, one of my girls in LA. If you need to get the hoe out, because if you don't, you're gonna cheat. So you need to get it out of your system. Like, even if you know you found the one,
or not even cheat. Even if you're morally strong enough to be like, cheating is wrong and I'm not gonna do it, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone where you're constantly thinking about, I wonder what other people are like, you know? Yeah, so even if you wouldn't cheat, get it regardless, out. You do. And I think different people have different thresholds of getting it out of the system. For me, my threshold wasn't crazy high. I was like, because by the time I met Hannah and up till this point, there hasn't been any temptation, or there hasn't been any, like, obviously there's temptation everywhere, but in terms of like thinking, damn, I wish that I could do that, there hasn't been any of that. But I think regardless of the girl that I met, if it was my first girlfriend, there would always be that feeling, even if she was the one. So there's some people that are gonna, they will not feel happy until they have 100 bodies. And
I hope that's not me, because then I'm gonna have STDs and you know, make sure you guys are wrapping it up, seriously.
I mean, yeah, condoms suck.
And I mean, unless, like, you know, if she's your girlfriend, she's getting tested, she's on birth control.
If she's your girlfriend, she shouldn't be getting tested. If she's getting tested,
yeah,
while
she's
your girl,
she's not your girl, bro. She's not your girl, bro. But yeah, if she's gotten tested, or you know she doesn't have STDs and like she's on birth control, then, I mean, even if she's on birth control, dude, like, I probably wouldn't.
I mean, okay.
I probably wouldn't.
If we're talking
finish inside.
If we're talking about, sorry, Mom. If we're talking about Derek, Mr. More Plates, More Dates, he would say, because I've had this conversation with him before. This is what I'm talking about. Horny is a disease. I was like trying to convince him. I'm like, Derek, listen, if I'm on androgens, obviously my sperm count's gonna be lower. If I'm using spermicide. And
Spermicidal, you should talk Spermicidal Lube.
Oh yeah, so Spermicidal Lube. It's not like super effective. This is more just like a backup in case you're either extra worried and you want an extra form, or you have nothing else and you just literally just like need to make it happen. But spermicide, basically, you know, you got your little sperm and they swim upwards. Spermicidal Lube stops the tail from moving. So the sperm are alive, but they can't move.
They're paralyzed.
Yeah, basically. So, and he was like, man, accidents happen. Like, this stuff is only 99% effective, or even 99.9% effective, but, excuse me, if you're with the same girl, eventually that risk is going to increase. So, from his perspective, he'd say either always wrap it up or always pull out.
Yeah, I actually had not recently, but I have had one kind of a pregnancy scare, but not really.
You were pretty scared.
I was scared, but looking back on it, I shouldn't have been scared, because, I mean, she was like
you're only not scared because you're looking back on it and she wasn't pregnant.
Yeah.
Like,
She was in ovulation, and if you guys don't know what ovulation is, it's like when they're most fertile.
Yeah, it's when the egg is like in the uterus, ready
Yeah.
to be fertilized.
And so
and it's like 2 or 3 days every month, and it just so happened that it was the 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and we had hooked up. I was wearing a condom, but came off somehow. And so I called Derek the next day because, we go to Derek for everything. You guys have no idea. We go to Derek for everything. And so I called Derek, dude, and I'm like, dude, like, I have this girl and blah, blah, blah. She might be pregnant. And he goes, he sent me a link. It was, I think it was called like the Holy Mary or like whatever, like, the long, what's that, dude? I should know this because it's football, but like when you throw the Hail Mary, yeah. Hail Mary. He sent me this thing. It was like the Hail Mary. It was like a article, and actually, even if you get a girl, if a girl has ovulated.
Oh wait, because I would just want to say, for those of you who are going to comment, should have just gotten her Plan B. Plan B doesn't work when the girl's ovulating.
Mm-hmm. And so she, you can like do a copper IUD. After the fact,
yeah,
like a certain amount of days, and like it supposedly works, but there's no real evidence. But like he was like, you could do that if it really, really matters to you, and like it did at the time. But I mean, she didn't do that, and luckily she's not pregnant. So
I don't know how. You gotta thank the Deca gods, dude.
Yeah, the Deca. my sperm count was probably pretty low.
Yeah,
and also I didn't
there
like.
was probably like 2 like tweaked out sperm that came out.
Yeah, because I use Spermicidal Lube as well, so it's not. I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But because the condoms have Spermicidal Lube, so I don't know if like maybe it rubbed off, whatever. But I mean, we're on the topic of like penises and stuff, and they want to know if like penis enlargement works. So we are notorious right now. Our content. Like we've had a penis.
I just want to cut it off again and say not all the podcasts are going to be strictly about sex. And we weren't even planning.
Yeah,
honestly, we just sat down and we're like, what are we going to talk about? And we're like, let's just talk about the direction of the podcast. And
yeah, we're just talking. I mean, we're getting into it right now, but we should talk about penis enlargement because we have been making a lot of jokes about it, and people are really. I'm getting DMs right now. Yo, does the penis pump work? Does the penis stretcher work?
Yeah,
I haven't used any of them, but. James is a big activist.
I'm a big activist. So yeah, I'd say penis enlargement is it's the thing that guys look up the most, or they like want the most, but none of them talk about it. So they'll be like, I wouldn't look that shit up, bro. My dick's fine. I don't need it.
Yeah.
But low key, they're like on Google, like, how do I get my dick bigger?
Private browser,
especially
incognito.
If you're like 13, 14, 15, right?
Okay, wait. First of all, I do want to say, if you think you have a small penis
and you're watching porn,
you don't have a small dick, bro. Because James and I were literally talking about it the other day. We should have saved it for the podcast. We were talking about it the other day. He's like, dude, I thought I had like a small dick, and then I realized it was just porn.
I think I did have a small dick at the time.
Well, you were also young.
I was like 13 or 12, right? And that sounds bad, but like a lot of dudes that age have internet now. They're naturally gonna look up like people having sex.
Yeah, don't be discouraged, dude, because I mean, I was the same way. Also, I'm Asian. So, and there's that stereotype where it's like Asians have small dicks. So like all in high school, I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, do I have a small dick?
Right. And then you end up, if you join a like sports or something, dicks come out and you're like, oh, that's my size.
You're just normal.
Yeah. So most of the time you're either normal or even above average. And because I think people think average is like 7. It's like 5.2 in the US or something. And
also talk like if you got sorry to cut you off. If you have a girl and you're like just straight up be like how was it? And then if they like
I mean,
well they're gonna bullshit, but then again
they're always gonna bullshit, especially if it's a girlfriend. That's why like
but you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know. I mean, like once you get more experience, you're gonna know whether she's faking it or not. And
we'll talk about toys and other stuff like that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That's a whole different story.
Thing.
Just in terms of penis enlargement, because excuse me, I know you hate that, bro. You hate burps.
I fucking hate burps, dude. I fucking hate them, especially when I can smell them. I'd rather smell a fucking fart in my face.
Yeah,
than burp. Jeez, man.
I'd rather smell a fart than a burp because, damn, this was a segue. Huh? I'd rather smell a fart over a burp if it's just in the room, because if I smell a burp, like if I walk through a burp cloud, I'm like, whoa, like holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
But
it's
if I walk through a
disgusting.
fart cloud, it's like, okay, people fart all the time. But the conversation we were having before is, would you rather have someone fart in your face?
Yeah, in your
which means
face.
like butthole, face,
Yeah.
right? Versus a burp. In that case, I'd probably take the burp.
Dude,
I couldn't do that.
dude, I'm going with fart on that one, my guy. I'm going fart on that.
So
Wait, go. Oh, we need to get back on the topic of penis enlargement because we have to put these guys on. I personally, I think I need the pump more than the stretcher because there's two ways.
I just want to say there's more than two ways, but I just want to say this all comes down to like
two tools.
This comes down to like an ego thing, right? It's the same with lifting. We both know that we're above average physiques in the gym, but we still want to get bigger, and that's the way most people probably watching this podcast know us, and therefore they train, and they probably have a much better than average physique. Because you have to think,
And the people around you.
Yeah, when you're talking about average is not like
In the gym.
other
Average
dudes
is
you
not
see
in the
at
gym.
If you walk into a gym, you're automatically seeing like the minimum you're gonna see is like a 7 usually, because just by the mere fact that they're training and taking care of their health, they're already gonna be like, if you want true
And
average,
that's because at Alphalete, bro, you guys see in the
Oh, yeah,
videos. There's some
yeah.
sad cunts out there, man.
but if you want to see it, average is 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's a 5, that sounds ugly or whatever, but that's actually dead average. And if you want to see what that looks like, walk into just like a Walmart and just like look around, and on average, most people you're going to see are like a 5. So all of this comes from like an ego spot. And I just want to preface this whole thing by saying, like, body positivity, in my opinion, is kind of BS, because when you go to look up, okay, I guess it's different when you're looking up, like, how do I get bigger? Because people are like, oh, lift weights and stuff. But if you look up penis enlargement, it's going to be mostly like, oh, just learn the positions with your partner that work well. And like,
I've actually never thought of it like that.
Yeah, just accept
work with what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
Work with what
it's
you got.
Always
and
that.
honestly,
and it's
fuck
like,
that.
Yeah, and if you're the kind of guy that's going to be in the gym willing to make the sacrifices to get a great physique, like well above average, then you're going to want that in other parts of your body too. And I'm not just talking about your dick. I mean, like, your face, you're just going to want to overall, like, the way you look, your style, your overall. And I guess it kind of comes from a place of ego and pride, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. I'm not saying that like it's a horrible thing, as long as you keep it in check. But I'm just saying, in terms of the whole body positivity thing, that's what you see the most often is like
being fat and accepting it being fat.
Yeah, well, that's like a new thing.
Yeah.
That's like a new thing. It used to be, if you're fat, your doctor would tell you lose weight because that's not good.
Right.
Now it's like doctors are scared to say, hey, you gotta lose
fat,
weight. Yeah, they're like, oh, you're
no, you can't hurt anyone's feelings nowadays.
You have a little bit excess adipose tissue.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do anything about it. But it really, the way that it should be, in my opinion, if you want to be the body positive type, that's fine. But it's my podcast, so if there's something in me that's lacking, I'm not gonna accept it. I'm gonna fix it. And that's not just physical, that's like mental too. So if I have a shitty sleep schedule, for example, I'm not just going to come to accept the fact that this is the way that I'm built. I'm going to try to fix it, which me, Sush, Madrid, we're all trying to do right now. Or anything else. If I have bad work ethic, I'm going to try to fix it instead of just saying, oh, I'm naturally a lazy person. So that's the same. It carries over to penis enlargement. It's like, when I started, I was still slightly above average size, but it's like, okay, if the rest of me,
big guy over here, man.
He's
like, I didn't need the penis enlargement, bro.
I was 6'4", man, but I'm like super now. Like, well, I guess I don't know. Was I above average? If you look at the data, yes. Like, but I just can't believe that. I cannot believe the average size is 5.2.
Dude, because think about it, bro. Think about all. I don't know if height really has anything to do with it, but like, think about all the short.
But I'm not tall.
No, I know, but you're not
average.
Short.
Yeah, but I'm average height.
Right.
So if there was correlation, I'm pretty sure there's no strong correlation between height and dick size, which does make sense to me. But you would think Yeah, like if there was a correlation, but I'm pretty sure there's not. But just regardless, it's like, I know, I don't want to smoke people because there's going to be people watching that are that size or smaller, so I don't want to roast any of them. But the good news is you can do something about it. So I'll get into that.
We should probably start our own or your own penis stretcher and penis pump.
Yeah, so
You make some. No one talks about it, bro.
no one talks about it. Oh, shit.
Okay, we've stopped spotter. All right, we actually had to pause the podcast because the camera only records for 29 minutes. So we have to like do 2 separate clips. So that's why we had to cut that in half.
So I was just thinking in our 2-minute intermission, I was like, oh, how should I word this? Because it's such like a touchy subject. And I think the people that are still watching, they don't really care because it's like, dude, just tell me, okay? So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna get right to it. All right. And if I offend any of you, I am sorry, but I was in that same boat too. You know, I was down bad, and on paper, it was above average. But just looking at it, which is really all that matters. If you look at it and you're unhappy, like if you look at your dick, it doesn't matter if it's above average.
Personally, I have an aesthetic. I've been told
an aesthetic dick.
An aesthetic dick or a pretty penis.
Yeah, same. So,
and honestly, I'm like, yeah, I have a pretty penis, dude.
All right, man.
Pretty.
All right. No, but fuck, what was I just saying? So yeah, that's all that matters. Like, if your physique is bad, or no, if your physique is good, but you look in the mirror and you're unhappy, it's called body dysmorphia. But still, if everyone tells you, hey, you have an above average physique, but you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you're unhappy, that's all that really matters. So it's the same with penis enlargement. Like, I'd look at the number and be like, okay, like I'm above that. Why should I even care? But this is really all that matters is like how you feel about it. So that's why I started. And I'm like, at first, I'd say I started like messing around with penis enlargement when I was like 18 or 19.
Which one did you do first, the stretcher or the pump?
I didn't have anything. So just manual stretching.
So why don't you got to tell them how to do it.
So manual stretching.
It's pretty self-explanatory, but
yeah, you have a shaft, you have a head, and you just grab right under the head like so. You just pull until it almost hurts. Yeah. And you just hold that for like 5 minutes, scroll through Instagram, pull to one side, scroll through Instagram, 5 minutes, pull to the other side, 5 minutes, scroll through Instagram. That gets old really fast. So I did that for maybe a couple weeks, and I'm like, my dick isn't so bad. That's fine. But then, you know,
did you see results in the first couple weeks? I actually am interested.
I'd say,
like,
all right, Mom, if you're still watching,
yeah, we're sorry. We're sorry.
Just stop watching.
Literally just turn it off.
But I'd say that the flaccid size got bigger, but I wouldn't say erect size got any bigger.
Okay.
So, and I only did it from a few weeks before I was just like, I'm not seeing anything. Like, this isn't worth it. And even if I am seeing something, this is like hours every week that I have to dedicate to holding my dick in my hand and like stretching it.
And honestly, if you want like a bigger erect penis, like, dude, Cialis will do that for you.
Yeah, that is the easiest fix if you don't have time for any of this and you just want a tiny bit more.
Is Cialis.
Cialis, yeah. Even if you don't, like, you can have a perfectly functioning dick, but Cialis will increase the volume regardless, like crazy, like to the point where it almost hurts. So anyway, eventually started looking into like a pump, and I don't know why I feel weird about talking about this, but it's just like, because like there's nothing wrong with it. But anyway, we're going
to normalize this like we normalize everything else. Okay, literally, James and I have came into this industry
and normalized
literally everything. Okay, so we're normalizing penis enlargement. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that is true. All right, let's just talk about it like a medical thing. All right, so a pump helps more with girth and stretching exercises, or a stretcher, or there's something called jelqing will help more with length, or jelqing's kind of both, but
and a pump is literally I've never used it, but a pump it's literally like you're going in the gym and getting a pump.
Yeah.
Like on your biceps. Okay, so let's say you
like if you go in the gym and you get a sick pump, that's what your soft dick looks like after you use the pump, the actual penis pump. So
and it's like, and after a while it becomes permanent, and you could actually get like short-term gains, like if you were to do it an hour prior, to hooking up.
Right. So if you got a girl coming over and you're kind of insecure and you want to like give her your best
self,
self dick, same thing, then you can use the pump about an hour prior. You don't want to use it closer to that because it usually gives you some bruising, which just goes away. And also it can like waterlog your dick, like actually make it very like full of fluid, and to the point where it reduces sensitivity. So just overall, probably shouldn't use it any closer than that. But an hour before, if you use it, you'll still have the pump. Like if you use the penis pump an hour before, you'll still have the pump in your dick at least, I'd say 10, 12 hours later. So, but we're talking about permanent gains here. So yeah, you can do that. But the pump helps more with girth, as I said. And I was already pretty set with girth, but I was like, fuck it, why not? And then eventually I saw Derek write an article about the Phallosan Forte. This was when I started talking to Derek. So I started just like messaging Derek. I'm sorry, man. I started messaging Derek back in like 2019, just about, I was literally like annoying kid in his DMs at that point. I was like just no shame, like, dude, how do I grow my dick? And
yeah, we literally, like I said, dude, this guy, I mean, I'm sure you guys have tried to DM him and ask him questions because he's literally like a father figure too.
Yeah.
Like he's just someone who knows. You would just, if you got a question, you're just going to ask Derek, whether it's having to do with algorithms, like YouTube algorithms, or penis enlargement, you know?
Yeah. But at the time, he had a way smaller following and a less engaged following. So with me, I probably only had, because I started like messing around with penis enlargement back when I was 18 or 19, but I really decided to like, I'm going to do this when I was like 20, I'd say. So about a year and a half ago is when I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to like make this happen. And I was messaging Derek about it, and he recommended something called the Phallosan Forte, which is a stretcher that I'm wearing right now. And I basically was like, I didn't have the money for it at the time.
Because they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Because they work. So they're not cheap. I think it's like what, like $300 or something? The pump is like $350.
The pump's pretty expensive.
I almost got one, but I was like, dude, I just can't.
Yeah. And then, wait, why?
I don't know.
Money?
No, but it's like $350 for...
Yeah, but then...
man, maybe I'll, after this pod, I'll go buy one.
It's always the same thing, like, am I really going to do this?
Yeah.
And then...
We have been talking about...
I don't need to do this. And then like a day later, it's the same shit. So eventually, with me, I was like, okay, why? Like, yeah, it's not a big deal, but again, it's just an ego thing. Mm-hmm. And maybe one day I'll look back on it and be like, this was all pointless. But all I know is at the moment, it's fucking nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you're getting bigger in the gym, you're like, damn, this is fucking nice. And maybe you'll look back one day and be like, oh, so I was so egotistical back then. But still, it's nice right now. And it's the same thing with penis enlargement. Maybe you'll be like, oh, it's so egotistical, but right now it's nice. So
it's also just like a confidence boost, especially like when you know you're walking around with a hammer. It's like it's like walking around on test, dude. Not saying for anyone to hop on test, but like when you're on androgens or when you're on, something, you just walk around.
You're just more confident.
Yeah.
Because you're more a man, basically. So.
Yeah, that's just how it is. So, yeah, when you walk around swinging a hammer and, there's a hot girl around, you're going to be like, yeah, I could easily.
Yeah. And like, what are we at? Did you start the timer?
Yeah, I started the timer.
All right.
We have been talking about penis for a while. We've been
talking about penis for a while. So we do have to wrap this up. But Phallosan Forte is a stretcher that you can wear with pants. You can wear it out. I don't wear it to the gym because, it's uncomfortable. But basically, it's just, in short, something that goes over the tip, and then you roll it down like a condom and create a light vacuum to like suction it, and then you just strap it around your waist, and it tugs on it, and you do that over the course of, you do that 8 hours every day. Eventually, I've only really used it consistently for about a month, and I've noticed like pretty significant progress, especially just flaccid length is like.
But like, who really cares about that though?
Yeah, I know, but it is a good marker of
that it works. Yeah, for sure.
And or like when you get out of the shower and you're like, damn, like this thing's working. It gives you hope.
Damn, bro, I got a hammer.
Because for the first month or so, or the first few weeks, that's the hardest thing, is you're not really going to notice any progress. But then that's the point where you just got to push through it and be like, nah, I'm committing to this. And then once you do, at least in my opinion, it's worth it, because it's like, this is literally what I wanted. And now I'm not insecure about it. So basically my split, my split is like anywhere from 4 to 10 hours of the stretcher every day, depending on how busy I am. Because obviously if I'm running around, I don't have time to put it on, even though it only takes like 2 minutes. Or if I'm going to the gym, whatever, sometimes I'm not wearing it that long every day. You can wear it while you sleep, by the way, which is really convenient. So you can just put it on before bed, take it off when you wake up, then you don't have to wear it during the day. So I do that every day, and then I do 2 days on, 1 day off of the pump. And the pump is the I don't know, they changed the name.
Hydro something.
It's Hydro Extreme 7 something or 8.
And you have to like customize it with like your current size. Yeah.
So just want to look that up real quick.
Because I was like thinking about getting one, and he was on the website and he was like, oh, the Hydro, whatever. So maybe I'll get one, dude, but I don't know, because it's like that ego thing again. It's like, do I really need it, man?
Yeah, but it's like when you start in the gym, like you start making beginner gains and you're like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for me not to do this. Yeah. Oh, wait. Which one do I have?
You probably just have like, it's just like the normal ones, $350. Just give them the site.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
Hydromax.
That'd be sick if we did get a sponsor.
Hydromax.
Hydromax.
It's just called it's the Hydro Extreme 9 or 7. I don't know. But it's one of the Hydro Extremes. We're not sponsored. We should be, because we probably are going to make a lot of sales with this podcast. But if you have the money, or if you don't, there's ways that you can do it. Jelking, JELQ.
Let's not get into that. You should probably just
I'm not going to get into that, look it up. But you can look it up. But the reason I don't do it is because it takes time. Same with manual stretching. The reason I don't do it is it takes time, versus the pump, wearing the stretcher, doesn't take any time. So, the pump, you sit there for like 15 minutes with it on, and you can just scroll through your phone. So it doesn't really take time out of your day. Same with the stretcher. So, that's basically it. 2 days on, 1 day off of the pump. Sit there with it on until the point where it's pretty uncomfortable, like the vacuum pressure.
Yeah.
Sit there with it on for about 15 minutes. Slowly taper your way up. So if you're going to start with like 6-7 minutes, then taper your way up to like 15-20 minutes. And just keep doing that, and eventually you will see gains.
I would say all in all, ever since in middle school, it's like,
and these are permanent gains, by the way.
Yeah.
This isn't like it goes away after a day. Like if you keep doing this consistently, it will be permanent.
Ever since middle school, it's like, oh, if you have a small dick, you're fucked. Really, you're not. So we're just kind of like bringing that out there. Like if you are insecure, definitely look into penis enlargement. But I do want to change the topic, because we've been talking about penises for a while, and we probably lost a lot of viewers. So
maybe I can chop some of the unnecessary shit out.
But I do want to talk about OnlyFans though, because we had the Texas freeze not too long ago, when Houston was frozen and we all lost power. We were so bored, and I remember I had an OnlyFans account, which like I would go and like, I don't know if you guys remember my old YouTube vids. I would react to some OnlyFans. So I logged in, and I actually purchased like 2 girls' OnlyFans because we were that down bad. But I wanted to bring up the topic of not saying Hannah specifically, but your girlfriend, But would you be okay with her doing OnlyFans and that was her main source of revenue?
No.
But what is the difference between us, making money off our body, like
Dudes.
Instagram?
Sexual organs.
Okay.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, but
elaborate.
But we are,
okay.
Well, we are like, whether we like it or not, if you do have an above average physique, you're probably like a little bit of sex appeal, whether to be,
the whole reason,
and we are making money off of it.
The whole reason for building an aesthetic physique is you want to look
good and feel good.
Yeah, look good and feel good, but not all of that. Well, I guess if you really boil it down, all of that is for sex appeal, but a lot of it's just personal confidence.
Yeah.
Like if there was nobody.
And what's the point of personal confidence, though? Is the point of personal confidence is to be able to, make friends, get girls. Right, so like at the end of the day, like you can say, you can say what you want, like, oh, you work out for yourself and not for the girls. I hate hearing that shit, honestly, because at the end of the day,
I think the people that say that truly believe it, but they just don't understand what they're saying.
Because really, when you dig down deep, like we're human beings, we're supposed to reproduce and like supposed to be alpha and fight for the girls and fight to reproduce and to keep your bloodline going. And it's like at the end of the day, it's really just about sex.
It does boil down to sex, but the thing is, even if you have a girlfriend, like in my case, I'm not trying to get anyone else, but. It's different for us because we kind of have to maintain a good physique for like our careers. But for 99% of people, but still, like obviously we want to look good. But for
that's why I started working out.
That's why we started. Yeah. But why we're doing it now, there's more motivation for me to go to the gym because I'm like, okay, I can't have an off day. Like I have to maintain a good physique.
Yeah.
So, but even if you have a girlfriend, it's like, don't you want to look good for her?
Yeah, very true.
So I'm not trying to get any other girls, but it's like,
but then there's
those want to look good for Hannah.
Then there's those people though, where it's like they get in a relationship and then they get comfortable and then they get fat. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking,
so me and Hannah promised to call. I literally told her, I'm like, listen, baby,
call me out. Call me out. I'm gonna call you. You're fat.
I said if you get fat, like I'm gonna tell you you're getting fat.
Yeah.
And same way for me. Except not that it would happen for her. I'm not saying like, oh, I don't think it would happen for me, but it might happen for her. But I really don't think it would happen for me just because it's like, it's kind of throwing my career in the toilet.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like when you get comfortable in a relationship, doesn't that just prove that it wasn't for yourself, that it was for getting girls? So exactly. That would literally just prove my point. So if you know somebody who was like, oh, I don't work out, to get girls, and then they get in a relationship and then they stop working out and they stop like looking good.
I think for some
that people, is cap.
I think for some people, it turns into a form of therapy where they need to exert themselves physically because they're angry people or just because it releases endorphins. Like, I think it's safe to say a lot of the people that go running every day, like runners are a very curious breed to me because I see people running and they run like 20 miles a day and I'm like,
how?
What makes you do that? Like, what gets into your head and makes you do that? So for a lot of people and for us to some degree, it is just a release of emotion and intensity, and you get out of it and you feel great. But at the end of the day, the pursuit and thinking about why you started, it's usually because people want to look better and be stronger so that they can be more physically fit for a partner.
Right.
That really is what it boils down to.
And that's just animal instinct.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
That is animal instinct. Also, animal instinct is having an outlet for your emotions, like being able to express your emotions. So I'd say it still boils down to animal instinct. If you're doing it for therapy purposes, it just doesn't boil down to the sex instinct. But where are we going with this?
We were talking about OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, OnlyFans.
So you said no to your girl. Guys, I had a girl DM me today. This is no joke. I had a girl DM me today, and we were talking in the DMs, and she's out and she's on OnlyFans. She's only got followers on Instagram. I'm kind of doxing her right now, but whatever. She's got 4,000 followers. She's got 4,000 followers on Instagram. And I asked her, like, how much do you make with OnlyFans? She's making $75,000 a month on OnlyFans. And, like, there's a point where it's like, if you're making that much money, if my girlfriend is making that much money, and also she said she's only had sex with 2 people, so she's not a hoe. So, well, that she tells me. So if you're making $75,000 a month by posting pictures for other people to look to, they can't touch, It's like honestly, I'm telling my girl, go ahead, do OnlyFans because you're getting a bag at the end of the day, just like I am.
Fair enough. In my opinion, I'd rather have a girl with 15 bodies that has only ever hooked up with people that she had some sort of connection to and got to know than a girl with 2 bodies that exposes herself in that way for monetary purposes. Just because I'd rather have neither. I'd rather have a girl with a lower body count than that, but not that that's super high or anything, it's just personal preference. But when it comes to OnlyFans, I wouldn't have any problem with someone seeing Hannah at the beach in a bikini, right? So I don't have any problem if she posts bikini pictures or sticking her butt out or whatever, because that's leaving everything up to imagination. And that's always going to happen. People are always going to be looking. But saying, here it is, there's nothing left for the imagination, I'm showing you this thing. Sex used to be much more sacred. I mean, it used to be like so sacred that, in my opinion, it was too much to the point where you'd really only ever have one partner.
Yeah, and not even that long ago it was like that. Yeah. Probably like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and you would wait until...
And then like the early 2000s.
You'd wait until marriage.
Britney Spears era.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the sexual revolution, I guess, kind of started in like the 60s. You had people like tripping on acid and like having sex out in the open. But definitely before that, it was mostly like, on average, people had one body, and there just wasn't a lot of hooking up going on, and sex was a much more sacred thing. I don't think we should return to having extremely low body, such as like a one body count. I don't think that's necessarily right. Or waiting until marriage for sex. I don't necessarily think that's right either. Not to offend any like religious people, but that's just my personal preference. But I do think that openness about sex has gone too far, and I think that we've turned something that, in my opinion, should be sacred and intimate and passionate, even if you share that with a few people. And it doesn't mean that every hookup has to be your boyfriend. It just means get to know them to the point where you're comfortable with them. I just think that they're, in my personal opinion, and I'm guilty of this, I'm not saying I haven't done it, I'm just saying that I'm not like super proud of it. I'm not like, yeah, what's up, man? Like, you should hear about these hookups that I had. Mm-hmm. I look back on it and I'm like, I didn't even know that girl. Like, I don't even remember her last name. So it's like,
I agree, but
and
especially when you're in horny mode,
like
bro.
I know, but it's like when it's like that, you're using another person's body to masturbate, and they're using your body to masturbate, and you're reducing each other down to just a human being, just pleasure, just flesh, just literal, just like a fleshlight, like a human fleshlight. Yeah. And again, this is all personal preference. There's some people that have no problem. There's some people that are in open relationships with each other, and they have no problem because they think, oh, it's just sex, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I don't think, I think there's an issue with it, but again, it's just personal preference. Yeah. In my opinion, sex is between one person and one other person, and you don't really share that with other people if you're dating. Obviously, if you're hooking up with people, but you get to know them, you don't have to just have one partner. But I still think even if you don't just have one partner at a time, sex should still be sacred and intimate and passionate, and there should be emotion involved, because you can't fully separate emotion from sex no matter how hard you try, especially if you're a girl. That's why a lot of times with these girls that are hooking up with a lot of guys, they're usually doing it to fill a void. And if they're not, they have become so kind of brainwashed by today's propaganda that they think it's totally fine. And they're like, oh, it's just sex, whatever. And then they get into it, and girls are naturally more emotional, and girls biologically are not trying to spread their seed everywhere like guys are. So their biological instinct is telling them, find one guy and mate with him, but society is telling them it doesn't matter, hook up with everyone.
It's like the
so then they inevitably catch feelings.
It's like the anti-slut shaming thing, where it's I think Amber Rose started it, where she was like, Amber Rose, like she's like
bald head.
Yeah, bald head. She's like actually pretty bad, and she's like, oh, stop slut shaming.
But there's
I agree with that,
reason,
honestly, because I don't think
people are like, well, why does it only apply to girls and not guys? And I agree that there is a double standard, but I think the reason that double, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, I'm just making a simple observation. I think the reason that double standard arose is because instinctively people know that it's a little weirder for a girl to have 50 bodies than a guy to have 50 bodies. And the reason for that is biological. The reason everyone knows that down to their core, where if they hear a guy say that, it's like, it's weird. But if they hear a girl say that, they're like, damn, kind of a slut, right? I'm not saying it's okay to call girls sluts. It's just like the reason that's instinctually like you know it to be true, and the reason that stereotype naturally happened is because of a biological thing where guys want to spread their seed around. That's why we create billions of sperm, but girls only have one egg per ovulation cycle. They're only biologically supposed to mate with one guy.
It's like Mormonism.
Yeah,
like
that literally,
it's like Mormonism.
Where guys have
multiple
a bunch
wives.
of wives.
Or what is it? Freaking
what?
Where they have multiple wives in like the Middle East. What religion is that?
Oh,
Muslim.
Islam. Yeah. And
Or
the
Muslim.
thing is, on that note, that satisfies the biological side of it, but then that ruins the societal side of it, because then you have the top 1 in 100 most alpha men naturally scooping up all the women, and then you have the remaining 99% of men that have no women, and then that ends up destabilizing society. And that's why you see in the Middle East, and I heard Mike Cernovich talking about this on Timcast IRL, he was saying that's why, like, not to make any stereotypes here, but obviously there's like a lot of terrorism over there. And basically when your predominant religion says that like the most alpha guy has all these wives, and then the kind of like beta guys, they have nothing left to do but be angry.
We're not saying beta as in like you're beta if you don't get puss. That's not what we're saying.
Right. But just like the guys that are naturally beta usually are going to get less. And in Mike's words, they have nothing left to do but be angry. Well, in his actual words, he said they have nothing left to do but be angry and blow stuff up. And that's a broader analogy to just, even if they don't go and commit horrible acts, it just overall destabilizes society. That's why I don't want to get too religious or like philosophical here, but I think that's why religions such as Christianity, when they were the predominant religion in certain societies, those were the most stable societies, because each man had one woman and there was basically nobody left out. There weren't 99% of guys left there to be angry. And it's ironic how the sexual revolution has meant to be it's meant to be sexually freeing, but it's actually kind of created the opposite, where now it's just the most alpha men taking up all the women, and you see things happen like the incel movement. I'm sure you've seen, like, there's actually, that's not a joke. Like, there's guys out there that are incels, involuntary celibate, which basically is a nice way of saying can't get puss. And they're not happy guys.
Yeah.
Like, you would not want to fuck with these guys. They are
and
kind of like, they're either really depressed or they're really angry.
And
both
that
of those
just
things
goes
are not good.
and that just goes back to like, why are you lifting weights, you know?
But if you're the alpha man, this is also
Okay, we just had to reset the camera real quick, but we're about to wrap this up, guys.
Yeah, we got into talking.
Yeah.
But
This is what happens.
this is what happens, yeah. So
And the thing with the podcast is you don't want cuts in the middle, you know? So cuz like the podcast is supposed to be raw. It's almost like it's live.
yeah. But it was literally 10 seconds. I just got up, turned it back on, walked back over. So anyway, I don't want to copy too much of what Mike said on the podcast, and I also want to wrap it up, but it's like the whole kind of feminist movement where like it's okay for girls to like sleep with a lot of guys. The group of people that's benefited the most are
Alpha males.
Because they're like, oh, I can get all these girls now and they're going to be fine with it, and they're not going to think anything's wrong with that. Oh, great. You know? So anyway, as for the OnlyFans thing, I think there needs to be a healthy balance between like getting experience, getting with a good amount of partners, because you don't want to have regret down the road, and you also just want to get experience. Like, every girl is different, so the sex is just going to be better with the person you settle down with. If you've experienced at least a few people in the past that are all like different and enjoy different things, we can get into that on the next podcast. But I think there needs to be a balance of that, but also like keeping sex sacred. You can't just go completely onto that train of like, oh, it's cool and just hook up with everybody because of everything I just talked about. So there does need to be a healthy balance, and I think that balance is different for everybody. And
it's all preference, man.
You just gotta find, you gotta find where your balance is.
Different.
But just know that, like,
I still don't know what I want, man.
Just know you can't fully remove emotion from sex. So as hard as you try, inevitably there's going to be problems or issues. And
I feel like almost if you're just trying to hook up with a girl, it almost never works out. Because there's a connection. When you have sex with a girl, it's just always a connection, you know?
Yeah.
Like whether you want it or not.
I don't want to get like, I don't want to go on another story, but there's only been one person where it has been purely business-like transaction, and there were no feelings, not even like a little bit, that happened afterwards. And I can't say that it was like, it like felt good after. It was just like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all young. I'm assuming most of you guys are pretty young, like probably 25 and under. We're all young. You got to figure out what you like, and you guys got time to figure it out, especially if you're like 15, 16 years old listening to this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take anything that we said literally today because we were kind of talking out of our ass. But also, it's like what I think, so.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying be like me, okay?
This is what I think.
I'm not saying be like me.
I just want to say, like, sex is awesome, sex is great, but it's really awesome and special if you...
It's really awesome and really great if you have
it's really awesome and
you care about someone.
Yeah, when you care about someone, and it doesn't have to be a girlfriend, it doesn't have to be a wife. It can just be friends with benefits, but someone that you actually have some sort of connection with. And I think it's good to understand that sex is a sacred thing and not just to make it a trivial thing.
All right, I think that about wraps it up. We probably talked for an hour or so this was a pretty good podcast.
It's supposed to be 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were going to keep the podders like 30 minutes. So honestly, just put in the comments, like, what do you guys want the length to be? If you guys, I mean, obviously we're going to be able to see the analytics of the watch time. But yeah, let us know if we were rambling on too much, or just give us some constructive criticism, because this was our first podcast. I've never done this before, so.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, also make sure you guys subscribe, because it's a totally new channel. So make sure you guys spread it around. Hit that subscribe
button right now before
Send it to your boys. You know, we're going to be talking about a lot more shit. We got a lot of guests coming on, so a lot of big influencers. It'll be dope. So I appreciate everybody watching. And if you're listening, I don't know, maybe we'll get this bitch on Spotify soon.
Apple Podcasts.
Or Apple Podcasts, so.
Yeah, so that wraps it up. Sorry for only basically talking about sex.
Yeah, this is not.
We really didn't mean to ramble on this long about it, but these are important.
It is what it is, man. And honestly, a lot of you guys are young, and I wish someone would have.
Yeah, honestly, no. When I think about the people that are watching this video, I don't really feel bad about it, because this is the shit I wish that I could have heard when I was that age, or when I was at that experience level. Like when I was 18.
Okay. This is the end. This is the end of the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, we got to wrap it up.
All right, guys. We'll
Thank
fucking see you guys later, man.
Subscribe right now.
Bye.
And comment and like.
See ya.